What's up, my fellow light skinned people too? Welcome back to another video. Today what we're going to be talking about is which Mario characters be smoking that za. Because if you played Mario, you probably know a lot of those characters be smoking that za. So let's get into it.
Don't ever buy no weed from the gas station, bro.
Of course though, if we're talking about Mario characters, we got to talk about the most popular ones, the Mario Brothers. And first off, I do want to say there is no way that Mario is smoking the za. Because I think in his mind, he's probably thinking like, oh, Princess Peach wouldn't want me to smoke the za. Because he's just that down bad. Like, genuinely, I think in his mind, he's like, if I smoke the za, then I ruin my chances. It's like, man, you ruin your chances by being overweight and 5'1". She don't want you regardless. But knowing Mario, that's just the mindset he's in. Like, it's been 40, 50 years of him saving her from castles and all that. Just to get a kiss on the cheek every time. And he still thinks he has a chance. So that man is delusional. But let's talk about the better Mario brother, Luigi. And this guy has to be on the za. Because there's no way that he can put up with Mario as well as he can and he doesn't crash out. Like, there's the one game where Mario, he goes through all the levels, he saves Princess Peach, you know, whatever. And then Luigi pulls up in a hot air balloon. And he gets the door for Mario and Princess Peach. And then they take off without him. If I'm in that situation, the Mushroom Kingdom is getting a new King Von. I'm grabbing a fire flower and I'm going to be doing drive-bys in a hot air balloon. You ever seen that? But no, he stays chill. He's all good. You know, he's just the better brother. Like, he's tall, nonchalant, and I think he'd be smoking that za. So, and next up is Toad. And this one was a really hard one for me because it's like, in some games and like points in time, he is just so all over the place and wild and crazy where it's like, maybe you're on something else, you know, like it is the Mushroom Kingdom for a reason, so it would be plausible. But then I think back to all the boss levels, and when you beat the boss in each level and then you show up and Toad's just sitting there and you're like, yo, where's the princess at? He's like, ah man, she just went to another castle. Like, I think that Toad must smoke the za occasionally. Like, I think when the princess gets kidnapped, he needs to chill himself out, and so then he smokes the za. But I think he probably prefers something else. And speaking of Princess Peach, we do have to talk about her real quick. And, you know, this is one of those ones where I'm like, whether she smokes the za or not doesn't really matter, just considering the context of her situation. Like, realistically, probably, since she's under so much stress with, you know, constantly getting attacked and the economics of the Mushroom Kingdom and all that. But whether she smokes the za or not doesn't matter because there's no other candidate for princess. This is not a democracy. She is a dictator. Like, she has been the princess basically forever, and she always will be. Nobody else ever challenges her, and I assume if they do, she probably beheads them. Like, that's my guess. So really, the question shouldn't be, does Princess Peach smoke the za or not? And whether, is Princess Peach even a good person? But that's not the video. So I'm just gonna say, yeah, she probably occasionally smokes the za, I guess. And then next we have Yoshi, and look, Yoshi's a dinosaur. He's not allowed to smoke the za, obviously. I mean, like, the people in the Mushroom Kingdom suck, but I think they wouldn't let the dinosaur have the za. But we also know that Yoshi's tongue game is crazy. That tongue be going places, and sometimes you just can't control where it goes. So I think, you know, one of the days, Yoshi's looking around for fruit, he finds a bush, and he's like, oh, this must be a fruit bush. And then, you know, he sends his tongue, and it misses the bush or whatever, finds a different bush, and then one thing leads to another, and boom, Yoshi smoked that za one time. Except, we know how his powers work. As soon as it, like, enters his mouth, he doesn't even have to smoke it. It just kind of happens. You know, it's kind of like Kirby. What would happen if Kirby smoked the za? Huh. If y'all want to see Kirby characters or Super Smash Bros., I don't know. If y'all want to see another Smoke the za video, let me know. And next up, let's talk about some villains, specifically Bowser and Bowser Jr. And I feel like Bowser isn't smoking the za for two reasons. Number one, I think he's kind of in the same lane as Mario, where he's so down bad for Peach that he just doesn't want to ruin his chances. Even though, again, you're a giant turtle man. You were never going to have a chance anyway. But number two, I also think it's because Peach is a dictator. And knowing her, she'd be the type of person who's like, well, Bowser's Kingdom is basically the slums. You know, I'm always speeding through when I go through that neighborhood. So let's just not let them have the za. Like, that's definitely the type of person Peach is, where she just wouldn't let them have the za. And it sucks, because I think Bowser would be so much better of a king if he could get access to the za, because he's always so angry and aggressive. But, like, imagine Bowser off the za. Imagine how chill he would be. But for Bowser Jr., I think Bowser Jr. probably has gotten the Za a couple times. I mean, he's an evil little teenager, and what evil little teenager hasn't gotten the Za once? I mean, plain teenagers get the Za all the time. So, evil little teenager, definitely got it. And he's like an artist, too. Like, he be painting, like, in that one Super Mario Sunshine, which, you know, what's a better mix than Za and painting? It's like, that's like mac and cheese or Shaq and Kobe. That kind of rhymes. Whoa. I'll remember that. Still on the topic of villains, though, if we move on to the Chain Chomp, I feel like he's kind of in the same bag as Yoshi, where it's like, he's an animal, so you probably shouldn't have the Za, but I imagine that's probably one of the chores for Bowser Jr. is like, oh, feed the Chain Chomp. And I think Bowser Jr., you know how, like, you put little, like, medicine pills into peanut butter and then feed it to dogs? I imagine that Bowser Jr. does that with the Za, where he's just like, here, this Za is whack, and then puts in the peanut butter and then gives it to the Chain Chomp because he doesn't want to feed the dog. And so, yeah, I do think that the Chain Chomp has, at some point, had some of that Za. And next up is Daisy, and I think pretty clearly she's got to be off the Za, like, pretty consistently, because she is just, like, one of the most chill characters in the entire game. And we also have to think about it from this perspective of, like, Luigi. If he's always off the Za, how is he getting it? He is too timid to be going through and getting Za from, like, the streets. Like, if Luigi pulls up trying to buy some Za, people are gonna think he's an undercover cop. So, if that's the case, how's he getting his Za? If we think about it, Daisy's his plug. That's what makes the most sense. And you know what they say? A couple that sparks together has a heart forever. Was Olivia Rodrigo making a song about Daisy being Luigi's plug the whole time? But yeah, those two, it all makes sense because they would obviously, you know, spark up together. They have a great relationship, unlike Princess Peach and Mario. Like, honestly, give me a Daisy. I don't want a Peach, bro. Peach, we're like, should be impeached because she's a dictator. That's not funny.
And next up is Rosalina, and I think this is a pretty easy one, seeing that she's always spaced out. But no, honestly, I mean, I can't imagine that she'd be smoking Earth Za, like Za from the Mushroom Kingdom. There's no way it's going to be anywhere near as good as what's in, you know, the outer regions of space. Like, she could be smoking on Stardust, for all we know, and I think that would probably hit a lot harder than Earth Za. Like, to her, I'm assuming Earth Za is like, it's like drinking a Coke. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like the most basic thing ever. It's like, everybody does it. You know what I mean? Like, why would she smoke Earth Za when she could literally smoke a black hole?
And next up, let's talk about King Boo, and I have a theory for this, okay? So just stay with me for a second. You know in the Mario games when you look at the ghosts and they like cover their face, like they get scared whenever you look at them, but then you turn around and they start following you. I think that King Boo is actually off the Za all the time. He's just always off the Za, like at every moment. And you know how some people, they be smoking the Za and then they're like, oh, I see the Hat Man in the corner of my room. He's gonna cut off my leg and drink syrup out of my belly button. You know, like, I think that's what we are to King Boo. He kind of sees us and thinks that we're like his Za paralysis demon. And so he's trying to like jump us while we're not looking. So when we look at him, he gets scared and he's like, oh, don't let it see me. But then when we turn around, he's like, I gotta jump this dude. I will also say though, King Boo, people don't be talking about him. He's the freakiest Mario character in the entire game. Every photo I see of this man, straight tongue out. What looks so appetizing to you, man? Put your tongue back in your mouth. Like, genuinely, his tongue game might rival Yoshi. Because genuinely, their tongue game, they could go tongue for tongue, and I don't know who's gonna win. That's so dumb. Real quick, let's just rapid fire through a few. So, Shy Guy, too timid. I mean, he could really use it. It would probably help his confidence, but he's obviously not off the Za. Bullet Bill, I mean, what kind of smoke you think he's releasing? Wiggler is actually pretty chill unless you like jump on his back, which is something that happens way too much in these games. Stop abusing the Wiggler. He's probably using the Za quite a bit. And then finally, Goomba. He has no arms. How would he spark up?
Well, guys, that's it. You know, and don't look at the runtime or the title or the fact that my hair's wet right now or anything like that. Just end a video. Like and subscribe. Thanks.
Troyplays!
Hey guys, it's me, Troyplays. You probably weren't expecting to see me in this video. I'm gonna be talking about the green and red Koopa Troopas and if they're on the ZA. Now, figuring out which Mario characters are on drugs really isn't my area of expertise, but I've done a little bit of research and I've watched enough game theory to come up with a solid theory. Alright, let's start with the green Koopa Troopa. If you've ever played any Mario game, you'd know the difference between a green Koopa Troopa and a red Koopa Troopa. The only difference being that the green Koopa Troopas will just walk until they hit an obstacle. I'm mainly talking about the 2D Mario games. I think the green ones are on the ZA because they're just chill. They don't care about anything that's happening around them. Especially in the 2D Mario games, or the first Mario game, Super Mario Bros. You just step on them. They're not purposefully hostile, they just walk. And if you hit them, that's your fault. Now, the red Koopa Troopas, on the other hand, are not on the ZA. And that's because, again, if you have any Mario game knowledge, if they're on an elevated surface, instead of just falling off of the ledge whenever they reach the ledge, they'll turn around and go the other way. They are spatially aware enough to realize, oh, if I walk any further, I'm gonna fall and die. Well, they don't actually die, but they just don't want to fall, so they don't. They just go back and forth. And you need a good reaction time to know that. These guys definitely have a reaction time that is good, because they can be on a one block. They can be standing on it, and they'll do that all day until the block is broken or they are killed.
And then finally, we'll talk about Wario and Luigi. And honestly, I don't know how to say this any other way, so I'm just gonna say it. They're crackheads. I mean, like, these guys are wild and wacky, so I'm sure at some point they've crossed paths with the ZA. But in their heart, they're off that crack. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, subscribe, like, do all that good stuff, and let me know if you want to see more fictional characters and if they be smoking that ZA, because I can do that. Anyway,